Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today I'm gonna show you how a compressor works. So what is a compressor used for? A compressor is used to control audio dynamics. Basically, that's what you use a compressor for. I can't imagine mixing without any compression on. I've got these two compressors. The reason why I put up these two compressors is because of what I want to explain to you guys. So I have my audio in the background. This is my audio in the background, and without compression it sounds like this.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we take control.
Why is compression important? The reason why compression is important because of this. Whenever you're singing, sometimes your dynamics become a little bit higher, louder, and sometimes your vocals become a little bit quieter in dynamics. Like this vocal right here, there are certain parts where I'm singing like this, and there are certain parts where I'm a little bit lower like here, and there are certain parts which I'm a little bit just shoot up, and there are certain parts which are like very low, like this signal right here. So what a compressor does is that it helps balance up the vocal. Don't worry about the type of compressors that I've put out. Every compressor has these things that I'm gonna explain to you guys. So your compressor is gonna have threshold, your compressor is gonna have gain, your compressor is gonna have ratio, your compressor is gonna have an attack, your compressor is gonna have release. So there are certain compressors which come like this. They come with a limiter and other things, but the most important thing is for you to know that every compressor has ratio, has an attack, has release, and has a threshold. And basically these are the things that we use during compression. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically just 5 things that are very useful and very important when it comes to compression. So right now, let us start with the threshold. What does the threshold do? The threshold starts or sets the processing, and this is what I mean. In order for the processing compression to start, you need to set your threshold below the original signal. This is what I mean. I'm gonna play my vocal and then I'm gonna show you where my signal ends. So always make sure you look at where your signal ends, then set it one step below that signal in order for compression to kick start. This is what I mean.
Wherever we go,
look at this yellow. Look at the yellow.
Wherever we go, we shine.
So my yellow is somewhere here. So I know right there, if my yellow is right here, then my compression has to be down one step below. If my yellow was here, then my compression has my threshold has to come here. If my yellow, my signal, my input signal was ending here, then my threshold has to be one step below. So your signal always has to pass through the threshold in order for processing to start, or in order for compression to start. So I'm gonna demonstrate it, and I want you guys to see this.
Wherever we go, we shine.
So I'm gonna pass this threshold of mine below the input signal, and then from there compression or processing is gonna start. Here we go.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we take on.
So as you can see, my threshold is below the input, the original signal passing through the threshold. Now here is something that you need to know. If you do not bring down the threshold so that the threshold can be below the original signal coming into the compressor, the compression is not gonna start. What I mean is, if your threshold is on 0, then compression is not gonna start. Now here is something else that can really help you. Whenever you throw in a compressor, always check out these numbers written down the input. Like our compressor has these numbers written on this input, negative 21.2. This shows me that that is where my signal is ending. So right there, I know that I need to set my threshold below negative 21.2. Or maybe yours, the input signal coming in is a negative 30. So right there, you know that your threshold has to go down negative 30. Let us go to the ratio. Now, what is the ratio used for? The ratio cuts those transients which go beyond the threshold. This ratio cuts the transients which go beyond or above the threshold. So every time there is a signal that goes above this negative 30.2, above your set threshold, that signal is gonna be cut by the ratio that you set. So let's say I put my ratio to 2. So let's say my ratio is on 2 to 1. So what basically this means is that for every signal that crosses this threshold, the ratio is gonna cut it by 1. That is 2 to 1. So only 1 dB is gonna be cut whenever it crosses the threshold, like this. For example, I want you to look at this. There'll be some yellow stuff right there.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we take control.
The simplest way is for you to know that the ratio cuts those transients which go beyond the threshold, and that's where compression begins at. Now, I want you to look at how the ratio works. What I was explaining is this. Visualize. This is why I put out these two compressors for you to look at the ratio. So from here to here, this is ratio. So what ratio does is whenever you drop your ratio like this, what's basically happening is you are cutting your signal like this. You are making this curve. This curve. Look at this. Whenever you are reducing your ratio, you are doing this. Whenever you are reducing your ratio, you are doing this. And whenever you are reducing your threshold, you are doing this. Can you see what's happening? Whenever you are reducing your threshold, you are doing this. If your threshold is on 27, it's gonna be like this somewhere here, and this is where your signal is gonna be. When you reduce your threshold is gonna reduce together with the ratio that you set. I set 3 to 1. So my ratio, let's say my ratio is 3 to 1. So 3 to 1 is like a gentle ratio. It's like this. And if you reduce your threshold, it's just gonna, this is what happens to your vocal. This is what happens to your vocal. So it's gonna come like this, come like that. If you increase, whenever you increase your ratio, this is what happens. It curves up. It curves up your signal. And the more you reduce, the more that signal is just gonna be very much compressed. Now, that's what the problem is. This is what happens. The more the ratio you put in, like this, and the more the threshold, you lower down your threshold, the more your compression is gonna be. And the more your compression becomes, the more your sound becomes unnatural. I'm gonna turn off this for now. Then I want you guys to look at threshold and ratio. So here we go. My signal is 21, so I'm gonna bring it down below 21 so that threshold can start processing. Here we go.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go.
So first I'm gonna start with this first compression, and then the second compressor I want is for visualization. I want you to visualize. So my threshold is now below the negative 21.2. Now I am going to set my ratio to 3 to 1. So there is my ratio 3:1, and this is what is happening. Let me play it.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go.
Now, what happens if I drop the threshold? Dropping the threshold on 3:1. This is 3:1. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna copy it this side on the second compressor. This is 3:2:1. So the ratio, this ratio has been put in this ratio, so you can see what has happened to this. Before, it was just straight like that. The ratio was just like that. But the moment I put 3:1, it cut a decibel, like 1 dB. It cut like 1 point something dB. It cut right there. That's the work of a ratio.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we take control.
So what is happening is the ratio is cutting exactly what we have said, but the threshold volume has reduced a little bit. And now the problem is, the more I increase the ratio, the more the sound, your signal sound, is gonna sound very bad, like this.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we take control. Wherever we go, we shine.
Now you can hear that the floor noise has been lifted up, the background noise has been lifted up. So this is really what happens when you increase your ratio and your threshold. All the background noise get raised up, and this is basically called a hard ratio. This is why I recommend that you do not use a hard ratio. Now this is what was happening. I want you to visualize. This is what was happening. The more you are cutting the ratio, this was what was happening. The more you cut the ratio, the more this line became straight like that. Watch this. Before, it was like this. And when you increase the ratio, and suddenly all those top transients were just being chopped off immediately. And then when you started decreasing the threshold, this is what was happening. This is what was happening. The more your signal is being squashed, the more your signal is being squashed, the more your signal is being squashed, and the more your signal is being squashed, the more the compression, the more the background noise was being raised up. The second part that we're going to look at right now is the attack and release. When you take your attack this side, it simply means that you are doing a fast attack. When you take your attack this side, it means that you are doing a slow attack. When you take your release this side, it means that you are doing a slower release. And when you take your release this side, it means that you are doing a faster release. A faster release makes the compressor to use more power to push back and release the signal. So right now I'm gonna play the song, and I want you guys to see and listen to what is happening whenever I take the release to slow release and faster release. So first I'm gonna take my release to the right, which means slow release. Then after that I'm gonna take the release to the left side, this side, which means a faster release. So here we go.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we shine.
Now, what I want you to set your eyes on is right here on the ratio, and see what is happening to the yellow line. Whenever I take my release to a slower release, the yellow line becomes very, very, very slow, like this.
Wherever we go, we shine.
See how slow it is releasing those frequencies. Basically, that's the work of the release, to hold the release and be able to release the frequencies of the signal slowly, and also to be able to engage in very slowly when you take it to a slow release. But watch what is going to happen when I take the signal to a faster release.
Wherever we go, we shine.
See how the signal is engaging right there on the yellow?
Wherever we go, we shine.
This shows that the release is working faster now. And what I basically do with my own settings is that I set the release at least on medium or on the middle, so that the vocal can be natural. Whenever you take it to a slow release, what happens is it holds those transients and those frequencies, more like squeezes the vocal a little bit, so that the vocal should just be held up like that. So I love to give the vocals some space, like room to like spread a little bit. So whenever you want your vocals to spread a little bit, just set your release on medium. And then the attack button is when you want how you want the compressor to attack. Like, I want you to attack my vocal faster or attack it a little bit slower. So when you take your attack to 0, means that it's a very, very fast attack, like this.
Wherever we go, we shine.
And the problem with a very, very fast attack is that the vocal becomes smoother, and at the same time the vocal becomes lighter, more like becomes unnatural. Though it becomes smoother, but it becomes unnatural, and then it may also start sounding merged and, you know, just creepy. There are just those frequencies which are needed to be in the vocal, but when you take your attack to really, really fast attack, your vocal loses that quality, that punch just disappears. So what I love to do is that I love to take my attack on medium or on the middle. For example, let me play it.
Wherever we go, we shine.
You can tell that the vocal sounds smoother, but the problem is some of that quality is taken out. So I'm gonna take it to medium.
Wherever we go, we shine.
You can see that immediately I set it on 20.0. Immediately the transients and the frequencies just cut through. The vocal just begins to cut through. So whenever you want your vocals to cut through, make sure you set your release on medium or on the middle, and then your attack has to be also medium and medium or middle, so that your vocals can cut through and those frequencies can just be heard even more. Then now I'm gonna take my attack to slow.
Wherever we go, we shine. Wherever we go, we...
So what is happening right now is that it is slowly attacking the vocal, slowly attacking those transients, but whenever you set it on fast, it is catching up with those transients or frequencies, at the same time releasing those frequencies. So it's attacking. The work of the attack is that it works on attacking the vocal. This is the way compression attacks the ratio, the vocal. The attack works with the ratio and threshold. So attack tells threshold, attack it fast or attack it slower, and then the attack at the same time tells the ratio, attack it fast or attack it slower. So this works with 1, 2, and then combined together. If it is a slower attack, it means these two will be doing it slowly as well together with the attack. If it's a faster attack, it will be doing it faster. If it is a slow attack, this and this and this will be doing it a little bit slower and together with this one. So if it's a slower release, this and this and this together with our attack will be slower. If it is a faster release, it will be doing it faster. Basically, that's how the fast attack works. So basically, you have to make sure that you do not set your attack completely to a slow attack, unless if maybe you really want your vocal to cut through, especially hip hop, trap. If you really want your trap is set to, you know, a little bit of a faster attack, not a slower attack, because most of modern day music is like the attack is not too much. They like reduce it a little bit, so you can just set it on medium where the vocal can still cut through and at the same time be smoothened up a little bit, and then your release to can be set there. You don't need to squeeze your vocal by setting your release to 5,000 or to a very very slow
Wherever we go,
release.
we shine.
You don't need to do that. You're squeezing your vocal. So in order for your vocal not to be squeezed, it has to have breath, it has to breathe, it has to spread. So spread your vocal. So whenever you want your vocals to spread, set it on medium or on the middle, and then your attack to set your attack on the middle. Don't take it too much onto a faster attack, because what is going to happen is that your vocal is going to be smooth and light at the same time, so the body and frequencies are gonna just be, the dynamics are gonna be lost. So set it on medium so that the vocal can cut through and at the same time be smoothened up just a little bit. Then whenever you hear that the volume is reduced a little bit, that's where the gain knob, this gain button comes in, where you can they've given you an option where you can increase or give volume to your vocal while maintaining the entire compression or compression settings that you had set. And compression is not gonna change when you increase the volume. The compression is gonna be the same. What you're just doing is bringing back that lost volume. So I hope this video has helped you. If this video has helped you, please share and make the channel grow, and don't forget to leave this video a like and comment as many times as possible so that the channel can grow even more. I will see you in the next one.